we're doing something different. We're doing a remote podcast recording. Coach Pete is in his dungeon. I'm up in my office at the house. How you
My
doing,
office
man?
is in the basement. It's good. It's good. Another glorious day. I was wondering if we were going to be able to bust this out today.
Yeah, I'm glad that we can. So let's get right to it because this one's gonna be short and sweet because we still have a long day of jiu-jitsu ahead of us.
Can't wait.
So I've been thinking a whole lot lately. If you didn't know that,
You?
yeah,
I thought I was the deep thinker.
I've been racking my brain, and I've really been trying to think of how do we make the academy better. And for the longest time, it was as simple as just teach a better class and make the curriculum a little bit better and
Yeah.
sharpen your vocabulary so you can communicate ideas better. And those were like the only ways that we really thought about making the academy better. And then the last few months, like when we were about to make the move, you could see everything shifted.
Yeah.
Like we started talking a lot more about what is it that we are? Like,
True.
are we just a jiu-jitsu academy? And for the longest time, that was more than enough because jiu-jitsu does the heavy lifting, right?
True.
But man, we're capable of so much more. And that's kind
I
of,
agree.
yeah, that's what the last few months turned into. And all the conversations we're having now, it's not how do we make the curriculum better? Because man, it's pretty damn good. It's 8 years of whittling down to the most important, fundamentals.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think
true.
we can make that much better right now. But what's our message? Who are we? Like at the core. That's where I'm at, dude. That's what I've
That's
been
a good
racking my
question.
brain about.
Because, if you think about it, as far as, the class, the fundamentals class is solid. We've got the 16 weeks. This week we're doing, the coaches week. We get to choose what we want to do. The fundamentals class for the kids, the level 1, it's solid all the way through. The level 2 class, same thing. It's solid all the way through. We have new junior gray belts, so we're introducing them to all these new open guard techniques. The advanced class, the intermediate class, all the class, it's beyond the structure of what we do and what we provide on the mat.
Yeah, it's
And I agree
working.
with you.
It's working.
It works. We're a well-oiled machine. It's been working this way for, like you said, the last close to 8 years now. It's not that. It goes back to our outreach, our ability to reach out, and our ability to affect people in a positive way. I think that's imperative and overly important, I guess you could
Yeah,
say. It's really important.
one thing that we always leaned on was that as long as somebody is training,
Yeah,
they're going to get the benefit of the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. Like even if I don't tell you to start eating a little bit better so that your experience on the mat is more powerful, you're going to start doing it on your own, probably because you threw up that cheeseburger that you had before class. And then probably because you were so hungover from Sunday Fun Day that you couldn't
yeah,
do a round of Randori after advanced class.
exactly.
Hanzo, I'm not going to name names. And the beauty in what we have is Hanzo didn't want to do any rounds last night. And
But he did.
yeah, because Vandenberg went up and was like, I was training and I hear
Yeah,
him. Vandenberg's like, hey, you all right? What's going on? And Hans was like, nah, man, I can't do any rounds. He's like, oh, well, you're going to finish this round with me.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
very matter of fact. And Hanzo, to his credit, got off his ass and went and trained really hard. And Vandenberg gave him a brutal 5 minutes. But that's
as he
the
would.
culture that we have. Like, I want that.
Yeah.
It's a
I
beautiful
give,
thing.
it is a beautiful thing. And I want to give a big props to Chris because, you know, we don't want anyone left behind. We don't want somebody sitting on the sidelines, even if they're hungover, even if they've had a little too much
Especially.
of the tequila, because we all know, and I think we've had a few Sunday mornings where we were verping a little bit after, like Tony and Jen's bachelorette night when we went out into Philly. We still got after it the morning after. There's something to gain from it. And the fact that Vandenberg went out there and did it, man, big props to him. Big props to
Yeah,
him.
that's
Without saying anything, he took a leadership role.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's
that's
impactful.
indicative of him growing into that purple belt, which he already
Exactly.
did with his technical skill and his physical
Absolutely.
toughness and his mental toughness. But man, to see a guy who's pretty reserved and I would dare I say introspective
Yes.
take that opportunity to, him and Hanzo aren't like, it's not like me and
Buddies.
you. Yeah, they're not
Yeah,
even like
it's
in the,
different.
the same peer group. For
No.
him to do that, that really says a lot. So that leads me to this. I'm trying to whittle away the bullshit, and that's where my uncle really comes into play, right? Like when you guys
Yeah.
came up to New York with me, and you heard him speak when we did that like staff meeting. Really, it was him doing a presentation. It was very eye opening because given enough time, if you give me like 10 minutes, I'll be able to articulate all these beautiful things that are happening on the mat. Given like 5-10 minutes, you'll do the same thing and we'll do it in our own way, but
Hmm.
it's going to be a meandering, semi incoherent fucking
Journey.
rambling. Yeah. It's like,
It's
you
a
got to sit,
journey.
you got to be like, all right, sit down. Here's a glass of water.
Prepare yourself
Yeah.
to be
Keep your,
blown away.
yeah, eyes on me. But my uncle boils things down to, he's like, I always say he's like the karate version of like Al Sharpton. Like he does all the acronyms and the rhymes. Like he's like Jesse Jackson in a gi.
And board shorts. You forgot that.
Yeah, yeah, like Danaher. But you remember that stuff. You remember
Yes.
acronyms. You remember things that rhyme. And I mean, that's not really us, but we are starting to whittle down to the core of who we are. And maybe even more importantly, the core of what we want you guys to get out of this. And one of like an example for me that I've been sharing with you guys, I think is helping because I see people like hashtag this phrase is who do you want to be?
Yeah.
And the cool thing is you get to decide today. Like before you do Randori, you get to decide who you want to be. You get to choose to be the person who grabs the toughest guy in the room. You get to
Yes.
choose to not give up after 2 rounds.
You
You
get to
get to
choose to be the
choose
character in your own movie. And every
you,
role is a movie.
the
I want to be
hero's
defensive.
journey.
Exactly. I want to be defensive. I want to be offensive. I want to go deep into a bad spot. I want to make sure I'm putting the other person into a deep spot. I want to feel like a freight train on top of somebody.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You could be Doc Brown and experiment with your jujitsu, stuff that you're not used
Great
to doing.
Scott! It's De La Hiva guard, Marty.
But if you think about it, each role is you have 6 to 7 minutes to pick what role you want to be in. And
Yeah.
you could, you know, go to the dark side very easily in the middle of a role. So you get somebody gets in real deep, puts away a little bit too much pressure on you, go, okay, I want to change my role. No more do I want to be the one that's being held down and beat. I want to be the aggressor now.
Yeah, but not only that, Pete, like on a fundamental level, you get to change your inner dialogue and how you label yourself. Like we all label ourselves. So like you hear a famous one is people label themselves A type. I'm an A type personality. To
Yeah.
me, A type just means you're an ass. A stands for asshole.
Yes.
But the other thing is you hear people say, "Oh, I'm a procrastinator." No, you're not a procrastinator. You have the habit of procrastinating. And
Exactly.
no, you don't tap to pressure. You have the habit of giving up when there's pressure. But you get
Yeah.
to change your inner dialogue by proving to yourself that you can push through. So you get a guy like Professor Al on top of you, where normally you'd quit after a minute. You get the chance to change the narrative every single
So
time.
change who you are.
Yeah, who do you
I'm
want
not
to
going to
be?
quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give it up. I'm going to suffer. I'm going to
Yeah,
come
who do you
out of
want to
it
be,
on the
man?
other
Like
side better.
you wake up every day and you say, who do I want to be today? I want to be the type of person that does a cold shower, that gets a good workout in, that reads for 30 minutes, even though it's hard to focus. I want to be the type of person who doesn't just live on my phone. And I want to be the type of person who shows up to class. And when
Yeah.
I'm there, I want to be the type of person who participates and leads by example
Yeah.
and gets better. That's who I want to be. And I get to make up my mind to do that.
Exactly. And when you say the participation, just like your uncle said, participation equals progress. You don't
Yes.
progress if you don't participate. And that's that. When he said that, that was one of the ones that hit all of us. We talked about it afterwards. There was all five of us were talking about it. It was such a simple phrase. It's almost sing-songy. It's a simple thing, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's undeniably true. It's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Participation. Yeah. Participation leads to progress.
Yeah.
And as he says, you can unpack both words. So like you can look at participation by itself. What does that even mean? Does it mean
Yeah.
you're just showing up? It could,
Good.
if you're like at the baseline level, or does it mean like you're taking an active role as a leader? Or
Yeah.
you can see where I'm going with that. And then
Yes.
progress, let's unpack progress. Does that mean you're just getting better in jiu-jitsu sometimes?
Yes.
Or does it mean you're becoming a little bit maybe of a better person, a better version of yourself? And you can
And
even
that's one of the
unpack
things we
that.
talk about. Yeah, and we talk about that all the time, how you become a better person through jujitsu. You think of the trials and tribulations you have through day-to-day life. None of them, for the most part, unless you're Chris Vandenberg on his first date and he gets bum rushed by a bum. It's the Chris Vandenberg podcast, folks. No, but most 99.9% of the chances, and thank God, are not physical challenges. So when you do go on the mat, you get to take the physical challenges and try to overcome them. Whether you're not as, again, you're not as flexible, you're not as athletic, you're going against a coach, Professor Al, you're going against a Professor Pete, and you're going, this is really a horrible moment in my life. And instead of looking at the clock and going, okay, I got 2 minutes and 45 seconds, holy crap, what am I going to do? How do I get through this a little bit better? How do I give Professor a little bit more? How do I let him know that I'm still in this fight? I'm not dying,
Yeah, you dig deep.
And
You dig
yeah,
deep.
you dig deep, and that brings more out of you. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
really does. You open yourself up to all sorts of different things that can happen.
That leads me to this next piece, which is why I was so eager to get on the horn with you, because I wanted to get this out there. And one of the good things about this podcast, dude, is all these crazy jumbled thoughts in my head. I get to put them into words and articulate it and kind of bounce it off of you, and we get to
Yeah.
iron out all like what it really means. Because when you only think about things, this is one of the valuable things about writing and why journaling is so important. And when I used to write articles for the website, it was better to articulate things because your brain is very forgiving. Like when you keep it bottled up in your head and you're just kind of, the
Yeah.
thoughts are bouncing around, you allow yourself these logical leaps.
You get siloed. You're
Yeah.
stuck in your stovepipe.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. And then you take
Right.
it outside. You go, oh wait.
This is crap. Yeah. This
Oh,
flying
that
machine
was-
doesn't work.
That was not
But anyway-
brilliant. That was completely idiotic. Wow.
Yeah, which most of the time, but that's how good ideas come up. You got to have the stupid
Exactly.
ones first. So
You have to have a spark before the fire.
yes. So we were kicking around the idea of who do you want to be? And participation leads to progress.
Mm-hmm.
And another one my uncle said is, are you surviving or are you thriving?
Yes.
And dude, that hit me like a ton of bricks and he's said it since I was like 8 years old, and it always meant nothing. And just the other day I dropped Scarlett off at school and I'm driving out of the parking lot of her elementary school and I'm looking around at everybody and they're in such a hurry to get out of there. Half of them, when they get to the stoplight, they go right to their phone. And it hit me. I was like, you're in that much of a hurry to get out. Like this is your life. This is it. So you're in a hurry to get back home to watch The View? Like, or maybe it's even better. Like you're in a hurry to get to the gym. The point is, are you just always in a hurry, like waiting to get to the next place? Like Matakis would say, you don't want to miss out on being in pursuit of becoming.
Exactly.
Like, are you always just looking to become and you forget to just be? And that's in the same vein of, are you thriving or just surviving?
Yeah.
So one of the things that jiu-jitsu gives us, and when we participate, is for 2.5 or 3 hours, you're engaged. So you're driving to jiu-jitsu, you get there, you get changed, you're already interacting with everybody in the locker room, in the lobby, you're shooting the shit, you're already uplifted, you're already adrenalized, and then you do this class, and then you do randori, and then afterwards you're bullshitting with everybody. That's thriving. You are
Yes.
thriving. You've got all those feel good chemicals. You've earned oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, these important things.
Yeah. You're
Whereas
present.
oh man, you're present, dude. That's which is present, being present and having gratitude are the keys to happiness.
Yes.
And dude, jujitsu gives us both of those things. And I'm just bringing this up, and this is what we're going to start exploring because we have to fight resistance,
Hmm.
as Stephen Pressfield would say. And resistance rears its ugly head and manifests in different ways for different people. For most people, resistance would show up in the form of like, I'm a little sore. I want to watch this football game. I'm going to skip jujitsu.
Hmm.
And what does that turn into? That's 4 hours on the couch.
Yeah.
Like you're not
That's not progress.
thriving.
No, you're
No,
not.
it's not progress. It's not participation. And it's not thriving. You just handed over 3 or 4 hours of your life, dude, for what ends? Granted, sometimes you
Instant
indulge.
gratification. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right. So that leads me to this, which is, Jordan Peterson's idea of like, it's something along the lines of like, act on behalf of your future self. If you only act on behalf of your present self, you always take the easy route and you always
Yeah.
seek that instant gratification.
True.
And how do you feel the next day? Are you any better for it the next day?
No progress.
A week later, are you better for having sat on the couch all night watching Netflix?
No. That
No, but
and you get that. You should be feeling, if anything, FOMO. To go back to the FOMO, you're
yeah.
sitting there going, "Oh, okay, the Eagles scored, whatever. Okay, that's great, but I could have been really progressing and adding building blocks to my journey. I could
Dude,
really
even
become."
I would say maybe the football game idea is a bad example because I get it. Some people are
Yeah,
really invested in their
yeah. I love
goddamn
watching
football team.
football. I love watching football, but football's on Sunday after open mat.
Yes.
You know, I
Yeah.
clean the mats with the game on my phone.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, and maybe I mean, maybe it's me. We're lunatics to a certain degree. We have to put ourselves in a box. We're semi lunatics,
Why?
right?
Why? Why do you say we're lunatics?
Because we choose to do and put ourselves into positions that most people can't and won't put themselves in.
So who's the lunatic then?
To us, it's them.
Yeah.
That's them. You're missing out on an opportunity to completely change your life and have a lot of fun and meet some really awesome people and become a family, a unit, a tribe.
Tribe.
You intertwine with everybody on a level that nowhere else in this world are you going to have that opportunity to do so. And it's not seasonal. It's yearly. It's a life's journey that happens. We have a calendar. We have days in the year. We have years with numbers. We don't. We have. It's another day to train.
We have gi and no gi
We have
day.
gi
That's what
and
we
no
have.
gi. Exactly. Exactly. And for some of us, are lucky to have no gi twice a week. You
Soon to
know,
be 3.
soon to be three. Hey.
Yeah, dude. It's just something I've really been leaning into lately. It's we spend so much of our lives just waiting in anticipation of something that maybe we are excited about. For example,
Mm-hmm.
like on Saturday, just to make up an example, like let's say we have let's say we're having another coaches party.
Yeah.
So obviously we would be excited about that, but most
Yes.
people will just trudge begrudgingly through their entire week just with their eyes on that one event on Saturday. That's like 90% of your life that you're just letting whiz by you.
It goes right by.
Holy shit, dude, that's terrifying to me.
And I'll bring up that, I mean, I'm 52 and I sit here and go, I can't believe I'm 52. Where have all the years gone? Where's all the time gone? I don't feel that I've wasted any of those 52 in the last nearly 9 years training jujitsu. Every day that I've been able to train has been beneficial to me and to everybody around me.
Yes.
It's really each day on the mat is a building block to better me. It's quite frankly that simple. And we've
That's
said
it
it
though.
before. I'd love to send this out in the air. Let it trickle down so people would go, "Oh, wow, maybe I should try this. Maybe I should give it a try." Or the dust goes in their face, and all of a sudden they're reprogrammed, and they go, "I'm going to Key tonight. Second
Yeah.
night, let's do it."
Yeah, I think you really touched on maybe the crux of the whole thing. So we to unpack, as my uncle would say, and go a little bit deeper. Like you were saying, how these last 9 years, none of it was wasted time because you're this person now. Now you're this
Yeah,
person. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you get one go at this. No
true.
matter what you believe,
Yeah,
you get one go of this. Like
yeah,
maybe you'll end up in the pearly gates,
yeah,
but it's not this. What we feel right now. You got this one meat wagon
yeah.
one time.
One time. Yeah,
So why in God's name would you allow this meat wagon to deteriorate and waste away? And even if you just live in a very cerebral way, like you live inside your own head, you like to read and sit around and you find pleasure in eating food, which whatever, I'm not judging.
yeah,
Even if you're just a quote unquote cerebral person, your brain will not function properly. At least it won't function maximally if you're not around other human beings, if you're not in physical shape, right? Not including round. If you're
yeah,
not fit, your brain will not function optimally.
yeah. You're
You
not
owe it to
fueling. You're
yourself.
you're not fueling the entire vehicle.
Yeah,
You're not.
man.
You're just not doing. It's funny. My wife posted today. 8 years ago, Grappler's Quest, and there's a video of my first match, and she's like, "It's crazy to see," and I'm like, "Wow, it really is crazy to see where I was, 8 years ago as a white belt and not tying my belt overly well, and seeing where I was, and where I am today. It was really I guess, of a perspective that just hit me. It really hit me, especially after the last week and a half and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It really hit me. It's like, wow, what an incredible journey.
And look at you,
What,
dude. That's the other thing.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
most people don't like seeing pictures from 8 years ago.
yeah.
Why?
Well, it's what they were to where they are now.
And
I'm in better shape
usually,
now than I was then.
yeah, dude, you look great. You look great.
I mean, I'm definitely way more fit. I'm definitely not nearly as flexible if I had any flexibility back then. But
Your beard looks
my
incredible.
I didn't have the beard back then. It was,
Did
I
you had
think, a
the
year.
flavor, flavor saver, right?
No, I did not. I was fresh shaven, short
Oh
hair.
wow.
Yeah,
Baby face, big
baby
schnoz.
face. Yeah, I always carry the fun fact around with me. But yeah, I mean, where else? Even, if you look back to a time where maybe you weren't at your physical best, maybe you were injured or whatever, you could still say, I'm in this shape. I mean, look at yourself. We look at the pictures back from 8 years ago at the academy. You're like, wow, you're a completely different human.
Yeah,
You're way
completely.
fitter, way
Yes.
fitter. You've grown spiritually, physically, mentally. In
I'm
eight
almost a
years,
completely different person.
in the last 8 years, I could say as a whole, all of us have flipped the page to a better person, spiritually, physically, mentally. And where did we get that? Where do you think all that came from?
The mats, man.
It wasn't watching football. If
No.
anything, we get pissed off watching football.
Yeah. Look, I mean, all these things they play their role. Like
Yeah,
you want to interact socially and you want to have your recreation and things like that. But think about how lucky we are. Like we lucky few that our socialization, our recreation, our fitness, like, our exercise, all these things are wrapped up into one. And it just so happens to also teach us how to defend ourselves. And
yeah,
it's like this crucible where we can sharpen our mind and our body and our spirit. It's
yeah,
everything wrapped into one. This thing that we
yeah.
love so much. We're so lucky. We're so
And
lucky.
also, so I forget where I was at the other day. So I'm at the shopping. I'm shopping somewhere for what God knows what I was shopping for. And a guy's eyeballing me. I'm like, dude, I'm just walking by, but I'm just walking. I think maybe I had my UGG slippers on and my dress sweats and whatever. I just walking by. This guy's like eyeballing, and you know when somebody's eyeballing you. They're coming from away and they're just glued in on you. And I'm like, whatever. I don't have the need to peacock.
No, he was probably intimidated.
Whatever it was, I don't know what it was, but that was one of those moments where I went, I guarantee you that somebody else would go, hold on a second. I'm just, hey man, whatever. Look, I got my I got my butterfly guard walk going on, my really bad posture, and I just walk by, and it just cracks me up. I'm like, dude, whatever, you know.
Yeah,
Where else you get a confidence that you could carry in your day to day life. You know, no interaction really affects me in a negative way. I never feel intimidated by anybody. I
yeah,
really don't. You know, unless
yeah. What a
it's
gift,
Professor Al.
right? Because you're smart. But what a gift it is to not be scared all the time.
That's the mental part of that, knowing that in most interactions that you may have, if it went the wrong way, you're going to be fine.
Yeah,
You've developed yourself. You've become a better character in your movie because of what you do on a daily basis or 3 or 4 days a week. You're not going to get that rehearsal anywhere else.
no, no, no.
And you know,
It's I like we need to, and that's we brought this up. We need to be better. We need to get better at talking about that. Like how this is what we do, dude. It took us 26 and a half minutes to explain what this beautiful thing of jiu-jitsu is, man. Like we need to get better at articulating it because our next role is to help more people.
yeah,
You know what I
facilitate.
mean?
Yeah, we're
Yeah, yeah,
facilitators.
yeah, dude.
And
Imagine.
you can't really put a picture on it either. You can't just you could just say close your eyes, picture you now. Picture yourself with these principles added to you, these physical tools, these mental tools, these spiritual tools that are added to you. And I want to, again, when we say spirit, it's like your uncle said. You know, we're not talking about God or spirits and all that
No,
stuff. We're talking
when
about
he says spirit, when he says like a sharper mind, stronger body, and a non-quitting spirit, and like how jujitsu or martial arts in general it should be making you better in mind, body, and spirit. Spirit means like when he says it, he's saying like who you are on the mat, your identity,
yeah,
like your not your soul, because maybe your
yeah,
soul,
that's
but whatever for
yeah,
whatever that means, and it's like your driving energy in who you are. You know what I
it's an
mean? So
energy.
it's
Yeah,
an
it's
energy.
definitely an
So
energy. It's a power source.
yeah, the ancient Greeks, like especially the Spartans, would call it your daemon, your daemon,
Damon,
da daemon.
MEON.
Yes, so
Yeah,
they would all have like their guiding fighting spirit in them,
yeah,
and it's kind of like the muse for your creativity.
exactly. And
And you
that's
get to
what we get
strengthen
that.
this thing. You strengthen this spirit on the mat,
Yes.
dude. Look, we all know people who even if they were maybe vibrant in their youth, they're just flat. Flat's a good
Hmm.
word for it. You know, they're tired, they're lethargic.
Yeah.
Even at like their most spunky, they're just there's no pop. They're
I
not
like to think of
excited
that.
about anything.
And think about it when you die, it's a flat line.
Yeah.
If you go through your day like this, you're flat line. You go through, you had jujitsu, you walk in the academy, boop. You start getting to talk and communicate with you, boop, boop. You start getting on the mat, you learn, boop, boop, boop. You start training, pop, 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 pop. And when you get
Yes.
off the mat, you've got an extended period of time where you're going,
Yes.
and then when you don't flatline,
So
you
the other thing
just
is this, when you're done, you're done. Your capacity, like the amplitude has
yep,
just increased. Your ability to go higher the next time just increased.
increased.
You're expanding, all your zones. You're expanding
Yeah.
your spirit. You're
Your
expanding that
personal
spirit.
universe. Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
dude. What a beautiful, powerful thing. And that's
And we
the
get to,
idea of
how
are you
blessed are we? We
surviving
get
or
to do it
thriving?
every day. We get
Every
to do
day,
it
dude.
every day. How
Every
freaking
day.
lucky are we?
Yeah, so that's a long way of us describing, as it always fucking takes. Are you surviving or are you thriving?
Yeah,
Are you surviving? Be that flat line. Like if your
yeah,
life is boop. And for some people it's like, oh, fantasy football draft, boop.
yeah,
Netflix is on, boop. I
yeah.
get to drink with my buddies, boop. That's it. And then for us it's boop, boop, boop. Like our week. Look at what our week looks like. Every day we have boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. Dude, every day, like most days I get to come in and talk to you about jujitsu on the podcast. Boo, boo. I'm amped up. I go home.
Juiced.
I'm juiced to the gills, man. But I get to come home. I jump in the sauna. I'm doing all these things to make my world better and my life better. I'm
Yeah.
throwing kettlebells around. Dude, before I jumped on this recording with you, me and Avery had like a half-hour jujitsu roll downstairs in the living room.
That's awesome.
Now, why is that so awesome? Because it was her idea.
Yeah. Even
And
better.
it's even better, man. Like I'm thriving. Like life is good. Life is
Yeah.
good. And it's not because luck befell me. I'm not Cosmo Kramer. I don't just back up and, oh, here's some good luck.
Yeah.
I've developed these skills on the mat to pursue the things that set my soul on fire.
Yeah. And it's a shame that not people are not looking at it that way, and people are not going, "Hey, how can I get that? How do I get what you're selling? How do I get what you have?
Well,
How do I do
here's
it?"
the good news, Pete. The
It's
good
not
news
going to
is
buy a new Mercedes. That's not going to do it.
no.
It's not going to be, whatever it is. Hey, you can go to your Lifetime Fitness and all that stuff. Good for you, man. That's great. You're at least you're doing something to build yourself up. But I could guarantee you, it's not the same. And we look at it like this. How many people have come to the gym? They're all jacked up. They're geeked up. They get on the mat. And then they change their workout. Look at Joe. What's
Yeah.
his name? Big Joe up the street. He was jacked. He came in. Power lifter. I mean, just huge. He starts getting on a mat, and then he starts getting his blue belt, and he's like, I got to change the way I lift.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah. Look,
he's a smaller version, but he's bigger.
lethal. But
Yeah.
we can't take away from people going to the gym. Good for you, man. Like your meat
Yeah, man.
wagon, you got to take care of your meat wagon. Physical fitness is step one. It's only step
Yeah.
one though.
Yeah.
Step two is like living with intent, living with
Yep.
purpose. Expanding your spirit, that spirit that we're talking about, that the warrior spirit. And my uncle will say, "Are you a warrior or a worrier?" Like how would a worrier, not a warrior, how would a worrier deal with the problem? Like a problem presents
They
itself.
dwell. They stress themselves up. They're
Stress, they
really
hide from it.
eating themselves. Yes. Yes.
They
They
turn
don't
away
want to.
from it.
They don't want to confront it.
Jordan Peterson says the hero is the one who confronts the problem. Who is the hero? The hero is the one who does not look away.
Yes. You confront your challenges. You look them in the eye,
Yeah.
whatever
And
it is. And you have to
another way to
interact.
say the hero is the warrior. The
Yeah,
warrior.
it is.
And our entire tribe is all warriors, whether they're, professional jiu-jitsu instructors or housewives or
Yeah.
fifth graders. They're all warriors. They're learning to confront the terrible things in the world, whether it be depression and anxiety or
Yep.
bullies and the bad guys or
Yep.
obesity. We're learning to confront these things. And
You're,
it lends itself to a life of purpose where we are thriving and not simply surviving.
yeah. And we're thriving as a tribe.
Yeah, which
We're
makes it
even
even more
stronger as
powerful.
a whole. I mean, that's incredible. We're developing like-minded people with the same, and I don't want to say we're developing, we're assisting in their progress.
Yeah, but you got to be more accurate or expand on that. When you say we're developing like-minded people, in what way? Like we're all going to drink the Kool-Aid?
No, that's not it. That's
No. So
not it at
what do you
all.
mean? What do you mean by like-minded? Because I don't think it's like-minded,
No, I would say it's more we all have a similar goal. We all
which
have
is
this
what?
similar goal, which is to be better
Yes.
physically, better fit spiritually, better
Yes.
mentally, more
So
mental clarity. And how many people we've had a few people that come in and go, I haven't had to take my depression medicine
a
because
lot.
since I started training jiu-jitsu. Think about that. We just killed so much money out in Princeton, up there with all those drug companies out there.
Keep
They
it
got to
down,
hate
dude. They're
us.
gonna kill us.
I'm not
I'm
going to
gonna
say
get
anything.
shot. So listen, we a lot of our students have said they don't need their anxiety medication, and a lot of
Exactly.
them don't need their insulin.
Or their blood pressure medicine,
Yeah, yeah.
stuff like that.
So we'll wrap up with that, dude. This one was short and sweet. I had to get
It's
all this out.
You have the red pill and you have the blue pill,
Yeah,
right? You can either go on with your life like you know it, or you can enter the matrix and really dive deep and become better on the other end just by training jujitsu.
it's as simple as that,
Ridiculous.
right?
It's so easy.
All
right?
right, bud. I'll see you in a little bit.
See you in a couple hours. Have a good
All
one,
right.
Professor.
Later, guys.
See you, man.